Hello, and welcome to my podcast or my YouTube, wherever you are joining me. And I'm really happy to have you guys here, as today I am going to teach you about the thought ladder. And the thought ladder is used in order to change our thoughts, and in turn that will change our feelings, which creates a better overall feeling within ourselves, our happiness, our joy, our relationships, our reality. And so if there's something that's kind of bothering you, or like a thought that like plagues you, whether it be fear or doubt or poor self-image, poor self-esteem, lack of confidence, any of these types of things, the thought ladder can be used in order to improve your thought, which is going to improve your feeling. And so, a lot of people might say, I'm a failure, or I hate myself, or my body is disgusting, or I'm a bad person, or I'm a bad mom, or I'm a bad friend, or whatever it is, right? Or I hate my thighs, I hate my nose, my chin, I hate the way I talk. Like whatever it is, that thing, that doubt that plagues you, we can start changing that thought, which is going to help us feel better, and hopefully feel better, maybe immediately, maybe over some time. That depends on you. And so I wanted to, like I said, talk about the thought ladder and what it is and how it can help us to grow and overcome the things that we want to overcome. So in my first episode, I talked about female conditioning and how females are socialized, or anybody who identifies as female, how we're brought up, and how our culture is, and all these things affect our subconscious mind. And so, we go around believing the conditioning that has been ingrained into our subconscious of who we are, who we're supposed to be, what kind of goals we're supposed to have, as females. And so that's all done subconsciously. So I wanted to first bring that to awareness. So we are being more aware of our subconscious thought processes, and therefore we can change or catch ourselves when we are thinking in a way that we wouldn't if we were more aware. And so that's why I want to bring awareness to this topic. And then that starts to bring awareness to several other thought processes of the subconscious mind. And so in my second episode, I talked about the subconscious mind and what its duties are compared to the duties of the conscious mind, what the differences are. And I talked about how the subconscious mind is like a garden, and we are planting seeds of belief in this garden. And it's not our subconscious mind's duty to tell us, it's not true. Like this seed, that belief isn't true, or it won't argue with you. It's not going to tell you, this thought isn't good for you or anything like that. It's just going to plant seeds of belief into your subconscious mind. And so you start to believe these things, whether it's done consciously or subconsciously. And so the idea is to change the pattern of thought. And then therefore, once we change our pattern of thought, we can change our feelings. So all of that being said, let's talk about the thought ladder. I feel like I've just unloaded a ton of information. So the thought ladder is, you can just basically picture a ladder, or you can simply draw a ladder. For any of you who are more of like a visual person, feel free. Okay, and so we all face, like I said, we all face those fears, those doubts, those mistruths that we plant into our subconscious. Things like I'm a failure, or things like I mentioned earlier. The list goes on and on, right? And so at the bottom of the ladder, you can place that thought. And I apologize if my voice is kind of like raspy. It's so late for me, but I'm a night owl, and so this is when I think about the subconscious mind. So late at night. But so you place that thought at the bottom of the ladder. So let's say in my first episode, I talked about how suddenly I told myself, I am good. I'm a good person. And that really changed a lot of my perspective, and it really just made me feel better, like immediately in the moment. And that was like me just kind of going from like, I'm like an okay person who makes a lot of mistakes or poor choices, like, until like I'm a good person. And I am a good person, so I could easily believe that. So let's just say we'll use that example in our thought ladder explanation. So the bottom of the ladder, we would have my thought, right? I'm an okay person. And so at the top of the ladder, we would have our goal thought, which would be, I'm a good person. From I'm a bad person, I'm a failure, whatever it is. Like I hate myself, I hate my body, I hate, I'm afraid of this or whatever it is. And then at the top, we put our goal. So we're going to start walking up this ladder, and each rung is going to have a new thought. So say I'm a failure, or, I'm a bad person. My next thought would be like, if you're religious, you could say, but I'm made in God's view, or you could say something like, I am open to believing I could see myself as good, or I am learning to see myself as good, or I'm learning to think I am better than I thought. Something like that. It doesn't even have to be like anything that's really going to make you feel good. It might make you feel a little less shitty or a little less bad. But at least it makes you feel, instead of feeling like 10% bad, now maybe you feel like 4% bad, or at least 5% bad. At least it's better than 10%, and which you could have been feeling moments ago. And that's going to be different for everybody depending on the thought and depending on where your belief system where your belief lies. So I want to give you guys openers to the thoughts that we want to implant in place of our previous negative thought. Now keep in mind, this new thought is going to be a neutral thought. It doesn't have to be like your new Instagram post. It's not going to like feel great or maybe not even good. It just might feel neutral. It just might feel a tiny bit better. Okay? But like I said, 5% is better than 10%. And so you can start to brainstorm, especially people who are visual. I brainstorm all the time. I might come up with like 4 or 5 different new thoughts, and then I'll pick the best one. I'll try different wording to see how it could be more positive. And the idea is that the thought has to be something that you can believe. So this is why we're just going to take a little baby step up the ladder. Like if you're like, I hate myself, the next step might be, I'm open to feeling neutral about myself. Or I'm learning to believe I'm likable, or I'm learning to believe I can be loved, or and as I mentioned earlier, your brain plants seeds that might not even be true. Our brain lies to us all the time. And we don't even really realize it because it's all done subconsciously. So a saying that you could tell yourself, or a new thought that you could tell yourself, is, it's possible my brain is not thinking right about this situation, or it's possible that my brain is not telling me the truth, or, it's possible I'm not thinking clearly about this. Things like that. That's another thought that you could use. If it's easier, or if it's, wherever you are in your thought process and your thought work, you could make it less personalized, like depersonalizing it. And so saying something like, if you think you're a bad mom for yelling at your kids, you could say lots of good moms yell at their kids. Or lots of, moms yell at their kids who are still good moms, or still make good choices, or like make it about some other people. So that might be a helpful suggestion. There's really no right answer. The answer is up to you and your brain. And so when we start to practice our new thought, our conscious mind is going to fight with us, going to say, no, that's not the truth, or, because we already have these learned thought processes, these learned thought patterns. And so by doing this, we are changing our thought patterns. We're changing our thought processes. So instead of, when you think about yourself, you're like, oh, I'm like ugly or whatever, instead of just automatically going to that, when you feel that way, your brain will say, oh, like, I'm a human being, I'm made in God's image, or I'm open to believing I'm attractive, or, you guys, whatever it is. That becomes your new thought pattern. And so instead of going from I'm ugly, you're automatically going to go to whatever the new thought is. And whatever your brain is arguing with you, is fighting with you, like, saying, no, it's not true. It's like, no, brain, like, you don't know the truth. Okay, and so what's true to you might not be true to somebody else, and so that doesn't make it a truth. It just makes it something that you think about yourself, and that's like your internalized view, but it doesn't make it the truth. So if you tell yourself, oh, I'm ugly, or I'm fat, or I'm unattractive, or whatever it is, I hate my body, that's like a big one for me all the time. And so when you automatically like think that, every time you're like triggered, or you like go on a date, or you go out into the world, you have all these self-conscious thoughts, doesn't mean everybody else is thinking that about you. And so then we have to start questioning, like, what is that my perceived truth? And again, becoming aware of those socialized, conditioned, learned thought patterns, because that's what your subconscious is. Okay, and so I'm just bringing awareness to our thought patterns, what our subconscious mind does, what our conscious mind, how it's going to try and fight you a little bit, and how we just have to keep practicing our new thought, So if it was, I'm a bad person, my next thought would be, I'm open to believing I'm a good person. And so every time I would think, oh, I'm a bad person, I would automatically say, I'm open to believing da 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 da. And so, you would keep going along with your thought, no matter what your brain. So your brain would say, no, but you did this and you did that, and how can you say you're good? You don't even go there. Don't even go down that thought way. Instead, I'm open to believing, or whatever it is. And don't even like engage those thoughts. Just keep telling yourself the new thought that you want to create. And so right away, that could alleviate a lot of your struggling, a lot of your pain, a lot of your sadness, or whatever it is, by just believing or learning to believe that you're not a bad person. And so, or whatever it is, okay? And for me, I didn't even realize I was thinking I was a bad person, because I grew up in a Christian home environment, belief system, and you're always kind of told like you're sinful. You don't even know the sins that you have. Like there's so many that you have that you don't know. And I always had a lot of feelings of guilt like about that, and just by saying I'm a good person was like really relieving of that guilt for me and I was able to go from I'm sinful and I'm bad to I'm a good person. I was able to make that jump and believe it. And that's the thing, you have to believe it. It has to be a believable thought, because a lot of people, they will like if you listen to current, maybe new age or whatever it is, philosophies, they will tell you like, I am the goddess, I love myself, like, and doing positive affirmations. And so I find like if I have a poor self-image or body image, or and then all of a sudden I'm saying like, I love my body, I'm a goddess, and I see myself as beautiful, and all these positive affirmations, if I don't really like believe them, they're not really going to work, because your mind has to believe, like it has to be a seed of belief that you're planting within your subconscious. And so you can't go literally from I hate my body to I love my body and be in full belief of that. So this is why we're taking little baby steps, because if we say I hate my body, and our next step is I have a human body, that will automatically, hopefully, like make you feel better and make you feel like a relief. And, so right away we've changed our thought pattern from, I am fat or I am ugly or whatever it is, into this new belief where we say, I am human. I am a human person, or I am open to liking this about myself, or whatever it is. If you can go from I hate my body to I love my body, like everybody would be doing it. But I don't find it really helped me like in the moment, and I don't really feel like it helped me in the long run, because I didn't really believe it. It wasn't really changing the way I thought, and it wasn't making me feel better, So this way you have hopefully a little bit less pain, a little bit less struggle, a little bit less feeling shitty. And so that's the goal. Now, once we're ready to move up to the next step, you could just brainstorm, figure out what works for you. And it's not easy, because you are feeling better on purpose. And that's literally what you're doing. You're feeling better on purpose. You're physically or mentally, putting in the work to feel better. You're retraining your brain, your thought processes, your, whatever it is. And so that can start opening like huge doors, within yourself, within your confidence, I've named them all a million times. That the way that this can impact you and can affect your life. And sometimes it might take, a day or even an awareness to a thought to change us from I'm bad to good, because that's what it did that for me. But that's not like, if we were talking about something else like body image or something like that, I couldn't go from I hate myself to I love myself in like an instant. But I can go from I hate myself to I am a human, or, from I am a human to I'm open to liking myself, or, whatever it is. So it's different for everybody. And, I gave a lot of different examples. So I hope that helps you guys be able to kind of work your feelings or your thoughts. Again, they don't have to be negative to positive, even just like negative to neutral. If we can even just baby step to neutral and find a neutral place, or a step towards neutral, that's like a great beginning and a great start. So keep it neutral and keep it something that you could believe and that you could replace your old thoughts with to create better feelings. Like I said, we are feeling better on purpose. And it's not going to be easy. It's going to take a lot of practice. But we can get there, and just being aware of our thoughts. When we're trying to figure out our thoughts, we can, brainstorm, put them down on paper, use the model of the thought ladder to work through feelings and thoughts. And just start putting in the mental work into your brain and how it works. So I'm so happy I've been trying to make this video so many times, so I'm happy I've finally been able to make it. And if you have any questions, please shoot me an email, or you can message down below. Anybody who wants to share stories, I want to open the dialogue, so please feel free.